What's up guys, and welcome to a new Dead by Daylight video. We've all been there. You're the last survivor alive, or you're slugged, lying on the ground, watching the killer just pace around. You're stuck, not dead, not alive, just waiting. But what if the game ended differently? What if Dead by Daylight actually gave us a proper ending? Something satisfying, something earned. Today, let's talk about why behavior should bring back the Finishing Mori and how they could make it even better. So, what was the Finishing Mori? Back in 2022, behavior tested a new system on the PTB called the Finishing Mori. Once you down the last survivor, the killer would automatically perform a cinematic Mori to end the match. No offerings, no crawling, no giving up, just a clean, dramatic conclusion. So why did it disappear? Let's talk about what went wrong and why it still deserves a second chance. Okay, it wasn't perfect, but it fixed a real issue. The current endgame often sucks. Survivors give up, killers slug, people disconnect, the tension is gone. The Finishing Mori added something crucial: drama, closure, and impact. It rewarded the killer's success, and for survivors, it was still better than bleeding out in a corner for 4 minutes. But if it added so much to the game, why was it removed? Behavior said community feedback was mixed. Some felt it took control away from players, or that it didn't match the pacing of the game. Back then, several people made videos playing Oni, trying to slug all survivors as fast as possible just to trigger the Finishing Mori. Because all of that, behavior removed the system, worried it encouraged unfair slugging. But let's be honest, even now, killers can still slug all survivors. Nothing has changed. So really, shelving the Finishing Mori didn't solve the problem. It just removed a cool ending from the game. That decision might have made sense at the time, but looking at today's endgame, things haven't really improved. Let's be real. The current Go Next system doesn't feel an improvement over the Finishing Mori. Instead of a cinematic, satisfying conclusion, we get a long crawl, survivors disconnecting, or just sitting on hook timers. The current Go Next system allows survivors to disconnect if the game is over, without losing blood points or pips. They can just go to the next match faster. But when survivors win, the killer is forced to push them out of the exit gate, trying their best to control the situation, or sometimes just watch a teabag session. If the killer had a rough game, they can't even finish the match quickly. It can be frustrating, and honestly, it feels like the system was rushed just to calm certain survivor egos. The proof? Even now, if all survivors are slugged, the killer still can't end the game quickly. You need to have 2 survivors left to trigger the Mori. For example, if 2 survivors are on a hook and 1 is on the ground, you have to wait for one of them to die before being able to Mori. And if all survivors are on the hook, you have to wait their timers to run out to end the game. Or you can simply disconnect using the Go Next without losing anything. So, as a killer, you win your match, but if you want to end it quickly, you have to disconnect. What a great reward! What if we could make the endgame better for everyone? So, imagine this. All survivors down, no more crawling or disconnecting. The killer steps into a cinematic Mori. They are all Mori'd together in a single, epic animation. It rewards the killer, it ends slugfest, and it gives both a proper ending. Here is how it could work in the game. Killers could have different Finishing Mori animations depending on how many survivors are still in the match. If all 4 survivors are slugged, the killer performs a single cinematic Mori for all 4. If there are 3 survivors slugged, 1 animation for all 3. Same goes for 2 or even 1 survivor. Each situation gets its own unique ending sequence. The conditions will be: only triggers when all survivors are slugged. Does not activate if a survivor still have a second chance perk, like Unbreakable, Deliverance, etc. This isn't about punishing survivors. It's about giving closure to a match that's already over. And in option, players can quit the cinematic if they prefer full control. If this happens, I suggest a rework for Unbreakable to help reduce slugging. Here is an idea. If one survivor is down, recovery speed is 35%, like now. If 2 survivors are down, it increases to 40%. And if 3 survivors are down, it goes up to 50%. This would make Unbreakable more useful in high-pressure situations, without making it overpowered. Dead by Daylight is built on fear, tension, and unforgettable moments. But right now, the end of most matches feels flat. It's time to change that. Bring back the Finishing Mori, and this time, make it even better. So, what do you think? Would you like to see a cinematic Team Mori when all survivors are down? Or do you have your own idea for how to improve the endgame? Let me know in the comments. Let's bring real horror and real endings to the game. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching guys, and see you for the next Dead by Daylight video.